Oh my god, what the So there's a new Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I think it looks pretty good. And my excitement for this movie made me realize not only how much I've always loved Mario as a character, but also that I'm a full-grown man who's extremely excited to watch a movie that was made by the same people that made the Minions movies. And so to celebrate my love of this character, I had originally decided that I would review every main Mario game ever and give it a ranking out of 10. But then I decided that's just not enough. So instead, I have decided to review and rate every single Mario appearance in history. My rating out of 10 will be just how I feel about that version of Mario overall, and there's about 1 million of these, so I'm gonna have to move quickly. And so this is every Mario ever. So I guess technically the first appearance of Mario was in 1934 when Mario Arnold Segal was born. He was renting a warehouse to Nintendo, and they ended up naming the Mario character after him. So we're gonna count this as the very first Mario, and he gets a 10 out of 10 because he's the most legendary human ever born. In 1981, we have the first arcade version of Donkey Kong where you played as Mario. So let's zoom in on Mario. And I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of his creepy fingernails. Also, what's with that hair? And also, I'm pretty sure that leg is a little bit too short. But again, this is 1981, and the first Mario artwork ever, so it gets a bit of a pass. But then let's check out the sprite itself. I think this looks actually pretty good. My only problem with this is that the button on his overalls is the same color as his skin tone, which kind of makes it look like his nipples are coming through his clothing. And also, I feel like if you add one more red pixel, it would look more like he's wearing overalls, like you could make the strap for his clothing. So here, I'll even fix it for you. There's the original sprite, and here I've added that one extra red block to make the strap on his overalls, and just changed the color of the button to be more of a gold color, so it doesn't look like his nipples. But anyways, it's still pretty iconic for the first Mario in a video game, and I give this a 7 out of 10. Also in 1981, we got Super Mario Bros. For the Intellivision, and we got this repulsive sprite, which might be the biggest abomination I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even know how you can call this Mario, but that's what we get. 0 out of 10, worst Mario ever. In 1982, we got Donkey Kong Jr., and Mario on the actual cover of the artwork looks pretty good. He's very cartoony and fun looking, and then the sprite looks a lot more like the original Donkey Kong version, except for that he's carrying this little whip thing, I guess, that he has in the artwork, but once again, they made the whip the same color as his skin, which, to me, I don't know, looks a little bit strange, if you know what I'm talking about. Couldn't they have just made it like a gray color or white or something like that? Aside from that, it still looks pretty good, and this gets a 6 out of 10. In 1983, we got Mario Bros. For the Atari 2600, and while the artwork looks a little different, it still looks pretty good. So let's check out the sprite, and oh wow, we are back to terrible once again. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it kind of looks more like Wario, honestly. This is really ugly. I don't know how they chose these colors for Mario, but this is really bad, and I give this a 1 out of 10. Also in 1983, we got another arcade version of Mario Brothers, and the artwork looks pretty good. And this is the sprite that we got. I don't know what's with this like power stance he's got going, but overall, it's starting to look more like the Mario that we know. So this one's actually pretty good, 6 out of 10. Again, in 1983, we got this version of Mario Bros. For the Atari XE, and while the game cover looks okay, we are back to this absolutely dreadful sprite. He has the power stance once again, but this is just the laziest thing ever. It looks nothing like Mario, and his face is way overly simplified. It's not the worst I've seen so far, but it still gets a 2.5 out of 10. In 1985, we got Wrecking Crew, and the cover looks pretty good, and I like this sprite actually. It's got pretty good detail. I like his little helmet and his little hammer. Pretty good stuff, 6 out of 10. In 1983, we got Mario's Bombs Away, which was a little tabletop arcade game. And you might be thinking this Mario sprite looks pretty good for the time, but this wasn't the kind of game where you could actually control every step that Mario takes. There were these preset Mario images on the screen, and you could only move them one space at a time. So it made it look a little bit more impressive than the usual sprites that we're used to, but you couldn't actually control every movement like you could in the other games. So I give Mario's short time in the Vietnam War a 4 out of 10. Also in 1983, we have another tabletop Mario game called Mario's Cement Factory, and the artwork looks okay. They forgot Luigi's mustache, which bothers me, and the actual sprite itself, much like Mario's Bombs Away, is just a preset image that moves around the screen, And also the coloring of Mario's outfit is way off. Like they had it right on the cover, so why is it so off on the game? I don't know. But this version of Mario gets a 3 out of 10. Then in 1984, we got Tennis for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And I guess Mario is the referee, so that's pretty cool. 6 out of 10. And in 1984, we got Pinball, also for the NES. And Mario looks okay on the cover, and he looks fine in the game where he comes out and moves the platform around for you. 5 out of 10. I'm not sure what year this Mario lunchbox came out, but it appears to be a lunchbox that can also transform, I think. Anyways, based on Mario's face, this gets a negative 5 out of 10. And finally, in 1985, we get the original Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System. And while it's simple, this is one of the most iconic Marios in history, and because of that, I give this Mario a 10 out of 10. I don't have any tattoos, but if I were to get one, this sprite might be it. In 1986, there was a game called All Night Nippin' Super Mario Bros. For the Family Computer Disk System. I have no idea what this is. It was Japanese only. All I know is I don't like what I'm seeing. Like, who is this? What is this supposed to be? Mario looks okay, I guess, and it's the same graphics as the original Super Mario Bros., but just way more terrifying looking. This entire thing gets a 2 out of 10. In 1986, we got this game for the NES that teaches you how to knit, and technically Mario is one of the knitting patterns you can do, and I guess he looks okay on the sweater. 4.123 out of 10. And in 1986, there was an arcade game called Versus Super Mario Bros., which is the same graphics as the original Mario, but the actual artwork on the arcade shows a very vicious, evil-looking Mario. And I've never seen him be so brutal to his enemies. Just look at how viciously he's killing this turtle. Anyways, it's cool, but it's very weird artwork. 5.5 out of 10. In 1987, we got this thing. I don't even know what this is. Online, they kept calling it Ocean Mario Bros. I don't really want to look further into it, and oddly enough, the thing that bothers me the most on this image isn't actually how terrible Mario looks. For some reason, it's this weird design pattern on the edge of the pathway where he's walking. Like, why did they use that weird pattern? Why didn't they just make it the black, like, on the side of the pathway? Whose decision was that? I need to find out who created this image and ask them why they chose this weird pattern on the side of the sidewalk. Anyways, negative infinity out of 10. In 1987, we got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES. And not only is Mario the referee, but I guess you can see who I think is supposed to be Mario out in the stands somehow. But I think this is pretty cool. 6.5 out of 10. In 1988, we got Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. And this is the best that Mario has looked so far. But I have one problem with this sprite, and it's this pixel down here by his feet. Why is this one pixel sticking out with one red square in the middle of nowhere? Am I not understanding something? I don't know. But once again, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna just push this square in and tell me that this doesn't look better. Maybe I'm missing something, but I personally think that looks a whole lot better. So feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, but overall, this sprite still gets an 8 out of 10. In 1988, we also got the Nintendo Cereal System, which I always thought was a pretty stupid name. Like, the word system just sounds strange on a box of cereal. But I also think that the Mario artwork they use looks really stupid. Like, they have the official Nintendo logo on the cereal box. Could they not have just used the sprite from the Mario game? Maybe there was like some licensing issues or something like that, but I think this looks super cheap, and I give this version of Mario a 3 out of 10. And I'm just going to assume that the cereal was terrible. If anyone ever tried it back in the day, let me know. In 1988 and in 2012, I have the first issue and the last issue of Nintendo Power Magazine. I'm showing these two issues because for the last issue, they recreated the first issue cover as a tribute when they said goodbye to the magazine, and I thought that was really cool. Now, there's like 1,000 other issues of Nintendo Power that feature Mario on the cover, and I'm not going to show you all of them because that would be like another whole video I'd have to make, or extend this video by another like 10 minutes. So I'm just going to show you these two. I used to love this magazine, and I was very sad when they discontinued it, but these covers get a 8.5 out of 10. I have no idea what year this shower head is from, but I do know that it has scald protection, so for that reason, the Mario shower head gets a 4.3 out of 10. In 1989, we got Tetris, and if you beat the game, there is an end screen where all of these Nintendo characters are celebrating your victory, and one of them is Mario, who is dancing and jumping for joy that you were able to beat Tetris. This was a pretty cool screen to see with all these Nintendo characters, but Mario himself gets a 5.5 out of 10. In 1989, we also got Super Mario Land for the original Game Boy, and this is a pretty clean looking cover, and I think this is probably the first time where Mario starts to look more like the Mario that we have today, which is pretty impressive for a Game Boy game. And the sprite in the game is basically just the original NES Mario, but in black and white. And I mean, it was the Game Boy, so it gets a pass. Overall, this version of Mario, I give a 9 out of 10. I think that cover is really good. In 1989, we also got the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, starring Captain Lou Albano as Super Mario, and I used to love this show when I was a kid. I especially loved when the Legend of Zelda show came on afterwards, and this version of Mario might look a little rough to a lot of you, but try to remember that they were basing this character off of what they had in 1989, so they did their best. Because of my fond memories of this TV show, I give this version of Mario an 8.8 out of 10. In 1990, we got Dr. Mario for the original Nintendo, which was a puzzle game, and I was very impressed by this sprite. Mario looks very good on the actual game cover, and the sprite almost looks like it could be on the Super Nintendo. It's very clean, very bright looking, and I give this an 8.2 out of 10. In 1990, we got Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES, and in my opinion, this is one of the greatest video game covers of all time. It's extremely bright. The cover on its own gets an absolute 10 out of 10. As far as the sprite goes in the game, it still looks pretty good. I think it's a slight downgrade from the Mario 2 sprite. For the third game in the series, it just looks a little bit simple, and couldn't they have made his overalls blue? The overall score for this version of Mario gets a 9.5 out of 10. Also in 1990, to go along with the release of Super Mario Bros. 3, was the Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3 TV show. And while this did look pretty good, my only problem was that on the cover of this, there are two Marios within a couple centimeters of each other that look completely different. Like the Mario in the logo has brown sideburns, and then the Mario riding on Luigi's shoulders have black sideburns. It just feels weird to have like two inconsistent pieces of artwork of the same character that are almost touching each other, but still looks really good, and I give this a 7 out of 10. In 1991, we got NES Open Tournament Golf, and Mario has his cool American outfit on. He looks pretty good on the cover. The angle of his head twisting back and the angle of his body always kind of confuse me. I understand what's happening. He's swinging the golf club and looking back, but it still looks weird to me. Also, he's smashing this poor mole in the face and kind of looks like a psychopath just smiling at it. But then let's take a look at the actual sprite in the game, and I do not like this one bit. It just looks really strange. Overall, I give this version of Mario a 4.8 out of 10. In 1991, we got Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, and I remember when I was a kid seeing this game for the first time and my mind being blown at how the game looked and the size of the overall map. I think this is one of the most iconic Mario sprites of all time, and I like on the cover the way that Yoshi's looking at Mario. Like, it just looks like he's so happy that Mario's having a good time. And overall, I give this version of Mario a 10 out of 10. In 1991, to go along with the release of Super Mario World, we got the Super Mario World TV show, and Mario looks fine, but I hate the way that Yoshi looks on this cover. I don't know what art style this is, but it's hashtag not my Yoshi. But overall, this Mario gets a 7.1 out of 10. In 1992, we go back to the original NES, where we got Yoshi, which was one of the later games on the NES. And this is a puzzle game, and as you can see, Mario is at the bottom turning these tables to help you play the game. And I just feel like Mario looks dead inside. For a game in 1992, I think they could have made him look a little better, and I give this version of Mario a 2.7 out of 10. In 1992, for the Super Nintendo, we got Mario Paint, which I played a ton as a kid. And all the in-game Mario sprites are just the same as the Super Mario World sprite. But on the cover, we get this cool Mario with his sideways hat, painting a picture. And when I was a kid, I thought that Mario was just like giving a thumbs up to his own painting. But as an adult, now I know that putting your thumb up and closing one eye is like a technique that artists use to check the perspective of their painting. So I learned something new about this cover while making this video. But overall, Mario looks pretty good, and I give this overall version of Mario a 6.9 out of 10. In 1993, we got Yoshi's Safari for the Super Nintendo, which used the Super Nintendo Super Scope to shoot the screen. And Mario looks pretty good in all of this. I always thought it was kind of strange to see Mario shooting a giant bazooka like that, but he still looks fine. 6.5 out of 10. In 1993, we got Yoshi's Cookie for the Super Nintendo, which was another Yoshi puzzle game. Mario is up here controlling the switches of the cookie machine, and he looks stressed out. I think he's been working overtime hours. I don't know why he has this red around his eyes, but it makes him look like he's terrified. I do like his cool little chef outfit, but overall, stressed out, overworked Mario gets a 6 out of 10. In 1994, we got Donkey Kong for the original Game Boy, and Mario looks pretty cool on the cover, but the in-game Mario looks kind of like Wario to me, so not amazing, 4 out of 10. Also in 1992, we got Super Mario Kart, the first of the Mario Kart games, and the cover looks really cool on this one. Mario looks great, and I like the sprite as well. He's very bright and colorful. And I give this version of Mario an 8.5 out of 10. Then in 1992, we go back to the garbage. We got Mario Teaches Typing, and I have to tell you that I despise these Mario sprites. They creep me out. I hate the way he looks. He looks okay in the cover art, but he looks like a creep in the game. 1.5 out of 10. In 1993, we got the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, and while this movie is obviously not very good, I think people are actually a little bit too hard on it. People say that it's the worst movie ever made, which I don't fully agree with. There was some cool stuff in this movie, but overall, this version of Mario still gets a 3 out of 10. In 1993, we got Mario is Missing, and while Mario looked okay in the game and on the cover, this is one of those trap games where it's actually not fun at all. It's this game where you do a bunch of learning and answer questions. This game was such a trap for kids, because at the time, we didn't have the internet and you couldn't look stuff up. So you just buy the game based on the cover, and then bring it home and be extremely disappointed. So like I said, Mario looks okay, but because the game tricked kids and wasted their money, this version of Mario gets a 2 out of 10. Also in 1993, we got Mario's Time Machine for the Super Nintendo, and this is actually worse than the last one, because Mario's Time Machine sounds like it would be a fun game, and the cover looks really fun. But once again, it is one of these learning games. For example, here is Mario learning about philosophy from a creepy, half-naked man wearing a robe laying on the floor. The actual Mario on the cover, I think, is a step back as far as Mario artwork goes, and the sprite in the game is pretty much just a reused version of the Super Mario World sprite. But overall, terrible game, and I give this version of Mario a 1 out of 10. In 1994, we got Mario's Preschool Fun for the Super Nintendo, and I know what you're thinking, I'm gonna hate this game, and you're right, I do, but I have less of a problem with this one than the previous two, only because you can clearly tell what this game is gonna be. It's not tricking kids into thinking it'll be a fun adventure. It's obviously gonna be a learning game for children. The actual in-game Mario looks dreadful. It kind of looks like a man in a Mario mascot costume. But again, I'm not as angry at this game because I never would have bought this as a kid thinking it was something else. Overall, still terrible, and this version of Mario gets a 1.8 out of 10. In 1994, we got Mario Fun with Letters for the Super Nintendo. Same story as the last game, I don't care, 2 out of 10. And also in 1994, we get Mario's Fun with Numbers for the Super Nintendo. Again, same thing, 2 out of 10. And then just in case you want all three of those learning games, there was a Mario Early Years CD-ROM collection with all three games, and the whole collection gets an I don't care out of 10. In 1994, Nintendo allowed Philips to make a Mario game for the Philips CDI system, and on the cover it looks like they just kind of reused the Mario 2 Mario, so it's kind of dated for 1994, and the in-game Mario looks whatever, but overall for 1994, this version of Mario is not good, and I give it a 2.2 out of 10. In 1995, in Japan only, there was the Nintendo Satellaview, which was an add-on that connected to the Super Famicom system, and I guess it would connect to a satellite in space, where you could like download games from the satellite. I don't know, but for the advertisement we got this Mario in a spacesuit floating through space, holding the cartridge. That's about all I can tell you about this for now, but Mario looks fine. I like his little spacesuit. This Mario gets a 5.9 out of 10. Then in 1995 we got the Virtual Boy, which I remember testing out in Toys R Us when I was a kid, and instantly knowing that it was terrible. But it was this thing that you would like look through and play games. It was supposed to be like 3D, but it only had one color, which was red, and you had to awkwardly stare into this thing while you play it. This thing was doomed from the very beginning. Mario looks pretty bad. And on the cover of the game, I think it's a real tennis ball they used to put Mario's face on. Anyways, overall, this Mario gets a 3 out of 10. Also in 1995, we got Mario Clash, also for the Virtual Boy. Same thing, looks terrible on the Virtual Boy, 3 out of 10. Then in 1995, in Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest for the Super Nintendo, there is a screen called Cranky's Video Game Heroes, and you can see Mario up at number 1 on the stage there. And he looks pretty good because the Donkey Kong games had very good graphics. I do like in the bottom corner there's the No Hopers section with a trash can, and you can see Sonic the Hedgehog's shoes, and I believe that is Earthworm Jim's gun, but Nintendo just trashing the non-Nintendo characters. Anyways, this was a pretty cool thing to see at the time, and I give this version of Mario a 7 out of 10. In 1995, we got Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island featuring Baby Mario. And I don't even know, is Baby Mario actually Mario, or is it like his son, or is it him as a baby? I don't even know. But this game looked really good. Obviously, Baby Mario in this game is famous for being annoying with his screaming and crying, but this game was really fun and looked really awesome, and I give this version of Mario a 7.5 out of 10. In 1996, we got Kirby Superstar, and I loved this game when I was a kid, and there is a mini game where you are chopping these big blocks in half, and you can see Mario amongst other characters in the stands. My only problem with this was that they just mirrored the image so you can see him on both sides. It's like two Marios exist in the same thing, so that seems kind of lazy to me, but still a cool thing to see in this Kirby game, and I give this version of Mario a 6 out of 10. In 1996, we got Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for the Super Nintendo, and on the cover, Mario looks kind of lifeless, like a wooden doll, but the in-game graphics on Mario at the time were really cool. They had a lot of detail, and this game in general is just awesome, so I give this version of Mario an 8.6 out of 10. In 1996, we got Super Mario 64, and while Mario looks a little bit awkward now, I remember at the time seeing this game for the first time and my mind being blown. For some reason, especially when I first saw Mario running around and I saw how his body tilted as he turned, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I think this was the biggest leap graphically in the history of video games, going from the two-dimensional Super Nintendo to this was just mind-blowing. So overall, this version of Mario gets a 9 out of 10. In 1996, in Pilot Wing 64, you can see Mario's head in the mountains, and if you shoot it, it becomes Wario, so that's pretty cool. 5.8 out of 10. In 1997, we get the sequel to Mario Teaches Typing in Mario Teaches Typing 2, and Mario looks okay in the cover. He looks a little greasy to me. And in-game, he looks absolutely terrible. Overall, I give this Mario a 1.8 out of 10. Then in 1997, there is a game from Japan called Excite Bike Bun Bun Mario Stadium. And Mario looks pretty awesome on the cover of this, and he looks pretty good in the game too. Overall, I give this version of Mario a 7.3 out of 10. In 1998, we got the Game Boy Camera, which was a game that you put into your Game Boy, and it had a really awful quality black and white camera, and at the beginning menu there was this guy in a Mario costume who would dance around, and I used to hate this so much. I thought this was the creepiest thing. In fact, the entire Game Boy camera game as a whole had a lot of weird off-putting things in it, and my entire memory of this game kind of feels like a fever dream. But specifically, I do not like this creepy dancing Mario. I give this version of Mario a 0.5 out of 10. In 1998, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time had a picture of Mario in this window that you could kind of barely see. It was a cool Easter egg, but I mean, whatever. 3 out of 10. In 1998, we got Wrecking Crew 98 for the Super Nintendo. Mario looks kind of below average on the cover, but I think he looks pretty cute on the actual game. I like his little helmet, I like his hammer, I don't know, I just like him. 6.8 out of 10. In 1999, we got Mario Party, and I always hated this cover because the dice was placed in a weird position where it looks like Mario Party 3, which is a game that already exists. So I always wonder how many people asked for Mario Party 3 for like Christmas, and their parents thought this was it and then bought them Mario Party 1. But as far as the in-game Mario goes, he looks pretty bad actually. Considering this came out after Mario 64, I think this Mario looks really awkward, and I give this overall version of Mario a 4.2 out of 10. And in 1999, we got Mario Golf, and Mario looks fine on the cover. The in-game Mario looks a little bit pointier than I would like, and I give this version of Mario a 4.8 out of 10. And in 1999, we got Mario Party 2, and this Mario has a cowboy hat, which is cool, and the in-game Marios look a little bit better than the Mario Party 1 Marios do, and he gets to wear all kinds of cool costumes, so that's nice as well. Overall, 6.4 out of 10. In 1999, we got a game in Japan only called Mario Artist, which was like kind of a sequel to Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo. And I don't know a ton about this game, but I don't like Mario's hat, and I found this stupid image of It's a Mona Lisa. Whatever, 3.5 out of 10. Then at some point in the 90s, I don't know the exact year, we got a series of Super Mario Bros. McDonald's Happy Meal toys, which I remember having. And back at this time, there wasn't a ton of Mario merchandise you could buy. It's not like today where you could go to Walmart and buy a ton of Mario toys. These things were hard to come by, and I love these things. I specifically remember playing with the bouncing spring Mario toy. I found this image of all the toys, although after watching the commercial for this Mario toy here actually wasn't a part of this series, so I don't know why it's included in this picture, but anyways, cool stuff at the time, 6.6 out of 10. In 1999, we got the first Super Smash Bros. Game, and I like the cartoony look of Mario on the cover, but the actual in-game Mario looks pretty rough, honestly. Still one of the best games ever, but I am going to give this version of Mario a 7 out of 10. In 1999, we got Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, a remake of the original Mario game for the Game Boy Color with extra features. It just uses the original Mario Bros. Sprite, which obviously I'm a fan of. I just feel like the Mario on the cover of this, the foot sticking out here, I know that it's coming towards you, so it's meant to be bigger, but I still think it looks a little bit too big. I don't know, it looks awkward to me. Anyways, overall, 8 out of 10. In 1999, we got Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. Mario looks good on the cover, but for some reason, I don't like the way he looks in the game. Overall, this Mario gets a 6 out of 10. In the year 2000, we got Mario Party 3, another Mario Party game. Who cares? It looks fine. 6.5 out of 10. In the year 2000, we got Paper Mario, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Paper Mario, and I love the way that Mario looks as Paper Mario. I think he's the cutest Mario ever, and I give it a 9.8 out of 10. In 2001, we got Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. I love this game, and I remember looking at this version of Mario and thinking that this was the best that video games would ever look. I couldn't believe that they had like the texture on his jeans. His hand looks a little creepy, but overall, love this version of Mario. I liked how Mario is kind of like cool and serious in this game, and this version of Mario gets a 9 out of 10. In 2003, we got the Game Boy Advanced e-reader, which was this thing that you put into your Game Boy, and then you could swipe these cards and get these little mini games, I guess. Anyways, one of them was a Mario Party game, and Mario looks fine on the cover. The in-game sprite of him looks a little weird, especially for 2003, and this version of Mario gets a 5.3 out of 10. In 2002, we got Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. In my opinion, one of the most underrated Mario games of all time. I love playing this game. I think it deserves a sequel, and Mario looks pretty cool. So I give this version of Mario a 9.5 out of 10. Also, during the early GameCube days, there was Super Mario 128, which is a game that never actually came out, but I remember reading about this and seeing the demos for it. And Mario 128, I guess, was supposed to be like the next big Mario game, I think. It was like Mario 64 times 2. But yeah, all I had to show you is this weird little demo thing of all these Marios. It never became a thing, obviously. I give this a 5 out of 10. In 2002, we got Animal Crossing for the GameCube, and in the game, you could get this Mario statue, which looks pretty bad in my opinion. This is for the GameCube, and this looks worse than the Nintendo 64 Mario. I give this a 2 out of 10. In 2001, we got Luigi's Mansion, and in the game, Luigi saves Mario, and Mario looks pretty good in this. 7.2 out of 10. In 2002, we got Mario Party 4, and Mario looks a whole lot better than he did on the Nintendo 64 version games, obviously, and I give this version of Mario a 7 out of 10. In 2003, we got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I loved this game when I was younger. It was super funny. I guess it turns out that Luigi wears red and white striped socks, which I didn't know. I love the artwork style of Mario in this game, and the in-game sprites also looked really good. 8 out of 10. In 2003, we got Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, and I guess Mario looks pretty good, 6.9 out of 10. In 2003, we got Mario Kart Double Dash, which in my opinion is the best Mario Kart ever, and I wish they would bring back the two-person Mario Kart gameplay. This has Mario and Baby Mario in it, so I guess that solves the question of is this actually Mario? I guess it isn't, but they both look really good in the game. And in this game, Baby Mario says one of my favorite video game quotes of all time. I don't know why, but that is,
"Not the bed for a baby."
I've been saying that for some reason for like 20 years now. I don't know why, but I just think it's the funniest thing ever. 9.2 out of 10. In 2003, there was a Japanese-only Nintendo GameCube game called Nintendo Puzzle Collection, and it features Dr. Mario on the cover. And for the GameCube, I find this Dr. Mario to look extremely awkward. I don't know why he's standing so weird, but I don't like it. 3 out of 10. In 2003, we got another Mario Party game, Mario Party 5. He looks fine. I don't care. 7 out of 10. In 2003, we got 1080 Avalanche for the Nintendo GameCube. And in this game, on one of the tracks, you can see a big Mario ice statue, which was pretty cool. 6.5 out of 10. In 2004, in Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, there's a part in the game where you can see these little Mario and Yoshi statues. Pretty cool Easter egg in a fairly serious game. 7.5 out of 10. In 2004, we got Mario Pinball Land for the Game Boy Advance. I think this is a really clean looking cover, and I think that Pinball Mario is the funniest thing ever. 8.6 out of 10. In 2004, we got Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and Mario looks good on the cover, and his sprite looks very detailed and cool. I do like the way this Mario looks. 7.428 out of 10. In 2004, we got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I've already expressed how much I love Paper Mario, and this version of Paper Mario looks super nice. Very sharp edges. I love the way this guy looks. I give it a 9.9 out of 10. In 2004, we got Mario Party 6. He looks fine. I don't care anymore. 6.4 out of 10. I don't care. In 2005, we got NBA Street Volume 3, featuring Mario, Luigi, and Peach as playable basketball players. And I don't know why, I just think it looks really weird seeing these characters play with these actual human basketball players. I think, look how awkward Peach looks here. It's just creepy to me. Anyways, overall, 5 out of 10. In 2005, we got Mario Party Advance, and Mario looks good on the cover, and he looks pretty good in the sprites as well. 6.5 out of 10. In 2005, we got Mario Kart DS, and Mario looks good on the cover, and he looks pretty good in the game too. 7 out of 10. Also in 2005, we got Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and as I said before, I really like these versions of Mario and Luigi. Luigi still has the red and white striped socks, which is important. And in this game, you get Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, regular Mario, and regular Luigi as well. And I like how they are carrying the baby versions around with them. Very cool stuff. 8 out of 10. And in 2005, we got SSX on Tour. And instead of just having a Mario ice statue, we get to actually snowboard as the Mario characters. And everyone looks pretty good in it. 7 out of 10. In 2005, we got Mario Party 7, another Mario Party game. I don't care. 7 out of 10. And in 2005, we got Super Mario Strikers on the Nintendo GameCube, and I always thought this was the coolest Mario art ever. I love the style of this, and the in-game Mario just looks like the regular GameCube Mario, so still looks good, but the cover looked really awesome, and I would have loved to have seen that art style in the actual game. But overall, 7.9 out of 10. Also in 2005, we got Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, and Mario looks super glossy and shiny on the cover, and it's the usual GameCube graphic Mario, but he dances. 6 out of 10. In 2006, we got Mario Hoops 3-on-3 for the Nintendo DS, and Mario looks pretty good on the cover. Donkey Kong looks overly stressed out to me. The in-game, I don't know if I'm just not understanding, but it looks like Mario's wearing a face mask. Maybe he was aware of what was coming in the future before we did. But I don't understand what's going on. Is that just his mustache? Anyways, it all looks fine. 6.5 out of 10. And in 2006, we got Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis, and Mario looks good, and it has these cool little Mario robots, and they all look fine. 7.5 out of 10. And in 2006, we got New Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo DS. I remember thinking this was really cool that they were kind of remaking the classic side-scrolling Mario games, but with new, nice 3D graphics. And I love when Mario grows big and just crushes through the game. Really cool stuff. 8.5 out of 10. 2006, Mario Party 8, I don't care, 6 out of 10. In 2007, we got Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii, and Mario looks excellent in this game, both on the cover and also in the in-game graphics. 9.5 out of 10. And in 2007, we got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This was a big deal at the time, having these old rivals going against each other at the Olympics. Mario looks good on the cover, but I don't like that Mario has nipples. I don't know. Of course he would, but I don't want to see them. 5 out of 10. In 2007, Japan got a game called Itadaki Street DS. I have no idea what this is. It appears to be some sort of board game, I guess, but it's not Mario Party, and it has Dragon Quest characters in it. Mario looks fine in it. 7 out of 10. In 2007, we got Mario Strikers Charged for the Wii. As I mentioned, I like the cool art style of these, and for some reason this time Mario has robot arms. But once again, we don't get the cool graphics in the game. They still look fine, but I would have, again, loved to see these graphics in the actual game. But overall, 7.6 out of 10. In 2007, we got Mario Party DS, another Mario Party game. I don't care. Mario looks slightly worse than usual because it's on the DS. 5 out of 10. And in 2007, we got Big Brain Academy Wii Degree, and there's a part in the game where you get this little square that shows Mario from Mario 3. Again, I love that Mario, but that's all we get from the game. So whatever, he looks fine, but 4 out of 10. In 2007, we got Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and I guess in the game there is a part where you can make this Mario face sticker appear. Kind of a cool Easter egg for this kind of game. 6 out of 10. In 2008, we got Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which I remember at the time, this is probably the most hyped I've ever been for a game release. And I also remember being even more shocked by the texture of Mario's jeans and thinking that games would never get any better than this. Anyways, I love this game. I love this Mario. 9.2 out of 10. In 2008, we got Mario Kart Wii. I was not a fan of the motion controls with this game. The cover was really cool. I like the shadow underneath Mario where it's like the actual car shadow. And yeah, Mario looked good in both games. Pretty solid, 8.1 out of 10. In 2008, we got Mario Super Sluggers, a baseball game. I think this is the happiest I've ever seen Mario look, and he looks good in the game, and it's a baseball game. Pretty good, 7.7 out of 10. In 2009, we got Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I love this style of Mario, and I love these games. Very nice all around, 8.3 out of 10. In 2010, we got Super Mario Galaxy 2, and just like the first one, Mario looks excellent in both the cover and also the in-game Mario. Looks fantastic, 9.64 out of 10. In 2011, we got Mario Kart 7 for the Nintendo 3DS. Pretty simple cover, and he looks decent in the game as well. It's a little choppy, but still fine overall, 6.5 out of 10. In 2011, we got Just Dance 3, and we got this Mario, and this is my most hated Mario, I think, of all time. It's super creepy. I can't believe this came out in 2011. This gets negative infinity out of 10. Worst Mario ever. And in 2011, we got a game called Fortune Street for the Wii. I guess this is a sequel to that other weird game I showed you for the DS, the non-Mario Party board game. Mario looks good in it, but just a weird game overall. Also, this was made by Square, which is really weird because they make like Final Fantasy games, so just a weird game to exist overall. Anyways, Mario looks fine, 6.8 out of 10. Then we have Super Mario 3D Land for the Nintendo 3DS. This was really cool when it came out. I think the 3D technology on this thing was already kind of dated, but Mario still looked really good, 8.2 out of 10. Then in 2012, we have New Super Mario Bros. U. Mario looks good as usual, 8.1 out of 10. Then in 2012, we have New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS. Once again, Mario looking good, nothing new here, 8.1 out of 10. In 2012, we got Mario Party 9, I don't care, 7 out of 10. And in 2012, we got Paper Mario Sticker Stars. And as you know, I already love the Paper Mario style. This one has this really cool fabric look to it, which I think looks amazing. And I give this overall Mario a 10 out of 10. Then in 2013, we have Mario and Luigi Dream Team. And Mario looks great in this. And they look hilarious in the actual game as well. 9 out of 10. And in 2012, we have Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Mario looks good, 7.5 out of 10. And in 2013, we got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, the first handheld Luigi's Mansion game. And in the end, he saves Mario as usual, and Mario looks good, 7.5 out of 10. And in 2013, we got Mario Party Island Tour for the 3DS. It's a Mario Party game, I don't care, 6.2 out of 10. Then in 2013, we got Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Switch. And Mario is a cat in this game, and he looks awesome, 9 out of 10. In 2014, we got Mario Kart 8. Mario looks really nice in this game, 9 out of 10. In 2014, we got both Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. I feel like both of these consoles are really awkward because they kind of both didn't work out in the long run. So while I liked them a lot, both of these games feel like an awkward in-between Smash Bros. Game until Smash Bros. Ultimate came out and kind of deleted these games from history in a way. Anyways, the Wii U version Mario looks really good. And also the 3DS Mario, they gave it this kind of cool, sketchy art style, which I thought was really nice. It kind of reminds me of that art style from the Mario Charged games that I said that I liked. Anyways, very nice, 8.5 out of 10. In 2015, we got Super Mario Maker for the Wii U. When I was a kid, this game would have been my absolute dream. And it pretty much has all the Marios in it, so I'm gonna just give it a 10 out of 10 because it has all the good-looking Marios. And in 2015, we got Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. And this game has both the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga versions and also Paper Mario in it as well. And they play all together, and I think this is really cool. I give it a 9.7 out of 10. In 2015, we got Dr. Mario Miracle Cure for the Nintendo Switch. And it's just a newer version of Dr. Mario. And Mario looks pretty good in it, 7.5 out of 10. And in 2015, we got Mario Party 10. Oh my god, I don't care about Mario Party games anymore. 0 out of 10. I don't care. In 2016, we got Mario Party Star Rush for the 3DS. I don't care. Negative 10 out of 10. Next game. In 2016, we got Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. And as usual, Mario looks pretty good, 7.8 out of 10. And in 2016, we got Super Mario Run, which is the first Super Mario mobile game. And Mario looks just about as good as he does in the DS games. This was pretty cool for a free download. And this version of Mario gets an 8 out of 10. In 2016, we got Paper Mario Color Splash for the Nintendo Switch, and this game looks awesome. As you know, I love Paper Mario, 9 out of 10. In 2017, we got Super Mario Odyssey, which is probably my favorite Mario game of the last, probably 10 years. I really enjoyed this game. Mario looks awesome. I want a sequel for this game, 10 out of 10. In 2017, we got Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I honestly have never understood what these Rabbid games are or what the Rabbids are. I've never played them before. I do know that Mario looks really good in them, and I think that the Rabbid Peach is the funniest looking thing ever. So I'm giving this version of Mario an 8 out of 10. In 2017, we got Mario Party, the Top 100, which I guess is a collection of the best Mario Party games, all in one collection. Whatever, who cares? 7 out of 10. Then in 2017, we got Mario Tennis Aces. And Mario's looking pretty cool and awfully serious about tennis, but looks good, 8.5 out of 10. In 2018, we got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of the best games ever made in my opinion. Mario looks awesome as usual, and I give this version of Mario a 9.9 out of 10. In 2018, we got Super Mario Party. I don't care. It gets an I don't care out of 10. In 2019, we got Super Mario Maker 2, which was like Super Mario Maker 1, but it has way more stuff in it, and it has every good Mario you could ever ask for. 10 out of 10. In 2019, we got yet another Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Mario looks good. On the cover, they're both holding gold medals. I think it would have been way funnier if Sonic had a silver medal, just to show that Mario beat him overall in the long run. But looks good, 8 out of 10. In 2019, we got Luigi's Mansion 3, and this game looks amazing in my opinion. Again, he saves Mario at the end as usual, but 9 out of 10 looks awesome. In 2020, we got Paper Mario, the Origami King. I've said it a million times, I love Paper Mario, and this game looks really nice. 9.64 out of 10. In 2020, there was a game called Super Mario Bros. 35, which was celebrating the 35-year anniversary of the original Super Mario Bros. Game. It looks the exact same as the original Mario, but it has, I guess, some sort of battle royale system. I don't fully know, but it's the original Mario. Looks good, but I mean, it is 2020, so 9 out of 10. In 2021, we got Mario Party Superstars. It's another Mario Party game. I don't care. I give it a cucumber out of 10. In 2020, we got Mario Golf Super Rush, and Mario looks like somebody's dad here. It looks very nice, but more importantly is how awesome Wario's outfit looks out on the golf course, and because of that, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. In 2022, we got Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. another Rabbids game. It looks really, really nice. Again, I don't know what these games are about, but because of Rabid Peach, this game increases to a 9 out of 10. And in 2022, we got Mario Strikers Battle League. Once again, love this cool artwork. Would love to see it in the actual game. The game still looks really good, and I give it an 8.7 out of 10. And finally, in 2023, we have the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It looks really good in my opinion. They definitely made Mario look super cartoony and cute, but I do like the design of him overall. Anyways, that is all of the Mario references that I could find. Do me a favor, in the comments, anything that I missed, any Mario game, any Mario reference, leave it in the comments and let me know. I know I showed a lot of the toys from the past. I didn't show all the toys from more recent times because in recent years there's been way more Mario merchandise, and I'd be here literally forever if I covered all of that. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.